Hi, welcome. This is the Prophetic Financier, Al Mills, and I'm proud to present to you the true story about money. In this video, I'm going to teach you some of the most important lessons I've learned about how money works, why most people fail with money, and the strategies and techniques you can use to create what I call passive income mastery. So now, let's learn about money. I have 2 questions to test your money intelligence. Let's see how you do answering them. Question number 1. Where did money come from and why was it created? Question number 2. How does money and the money system actually work? So how did you do? Did you know the answers? Or do you feel good about your answers? Well, most of us have never learned the answers to these questions, which means that we're trying to create financial success and wealth inside of a system that we don't even understand. And now, here's even a more important question. Do you feel confident enough in your knowledge about money and how it works? And do you feel confident that you will know how you can get money when you want it, invest it wisely, and accumulate enough of it that you'll be comfortable and secure and enjoy the lifestyle you wanted for the rest of your life? If you didn't answer yes to that one, and you don't feel confident in your knowledge about money and how it works, then what you're about to learn from me in this series of videos will most likely change your financial future in a very important and positive way. Let's get started about learning about the discovery that can give you far more power, what we call money. So first, let's talk about where money came from, because only by understanding how and why we came to use money can we learn to master money. Back when we all lived in a primitive tribes, life was a little bit more, interesting. We spent most of our time just trying to survive. Work in those days consisted of building and maintaining shelter, hunting and gathering food, and staying alive. Very recently though, in our overall evolution, we came with a few ingenious insights and inventions that gave us a huge advantage. Insights like how to grow our own food, how to build homes that lasted tens of thousands of years, and other creative ways of protecting ourselves from the elements that threatened our very lives. But for the first time, this allowed us to truly get ahead of the game and store up and control food, tools, jewelry, and other valuable possessions, and that changed everything. As we got more and more ahead, we could have done one of 2 basic things. Number 1, we could have just taxed the highly productive people that had surplus and given it to the rest of the people in the tribe, who could then just sit around and absolutely do nothing. Or we could have gone and learned a new valuable skill with our free time and learned to create new valuable products, and we could have created a system to trade one product or skill for another. Well, it's quite obvious we chose path number 2 for the most part anyway, and we went out and we learned new skills to create value, and the world became a richer place to live. But then things like trade became a little bit, if you will, strange. If I had a goat and 3 fishing nets, and I wanted to trade for your mule and your spear, but you didn't want my goat and nets, we had a problem. In that case, I'd need to go out and find what you do want and then see if I could find someone who has that stuff and go talk to them into trading it for what I have, then find you after I do that trade and hope you still have your mule and your spear to trade with me. Very, very inefficient. And that gave the birth of money. We needed something that could allow us to sell anything we had and buy anything we wanted without having to do complex trades and find people who wanted exactly what we had to sell. We needed a standardized unit of trade, something simple, portable, and valuable. See, universal currency that anyone could use or accept to trade for or purchase anything, pay off debts, and even lend. And so we invented money. Originally, our money or currency was in the form of a rare special item, particularly a type of a shell that was rare and attractive, or a type of carved stone that required a lot of work to create. Now with universal currency like shells, I could sell my goat and nets for shells, then trade the shells directly for the mule and the spear I wanted, and that was an awesome opportunity. But then we got to goods at things like farming and growing food, and we began using things like grains, and our universal currency, this was nice, but we then couldn't spend it, but we could always eat it. But eventually we stumbled upon what many consider to be the ultimate money, called gold. Gold was a great currency because it was rare, it was easy to carry around, didn't corrode, and could be used for almost all kinds of things other than just currency, which was very, very valuable. You see, if you didn't want to use your gold to buy things, you could make jewelry, make a tooth filling, use it in art, etc. And silver was also another great currency for the same reasons. But there's something else that's going on here I want you to be very much aware of. The point I'm making is that money itself used by be worth something. It used to be worth something, and you could use that very something other than just money. See, there's a special name for this. When the currency has intrinsic value and can be used for something, it's called commodity money. The thing to remember about commodity money again is that commodity money has value in and of itself. If you have grains that no one wants, you can eat it. If you had gold that no one wants, you can make jewelry, tooth fillings, or even computer chips from it. As we just learned, gold and silver, or if you will, commodity money, has a very, very huge intrinsic value, meaning that it has had enough value outside of the currency, and the only way to inflate that currency was to counterfeit it or to dilute it by putting some metal in it that wasn't gold and silver to create more money. So you see, the next step in the evolution of money after creating commodity money was to create something that wasn't a commodity itself, but that acted as a promise of the commodity. This next step was to create paper notes. They were backed by gold and silver, and that could be traded in for gold and silver upon demand. In fact, if you live in the United States, you may have seen on an old banknote that says gold certificates or silver certificates on it. This type of money is called representative money. Because a paper note that you hold in your hand is just a representative of the real value in the form of, say, gold or silver, that you can trade it for any time you'd like, the note you had represented real, physical, or silver that was in a vault somewhere. But the steps changed everything. Those true steps changed the way that we're going to look about money. The next step in this process, and a very controversial step, was to disconnect paper notes from gold and silver and from the real world completely, and print paper notes to use money, but this time without anything physically backing them up. That's right, nothing to connect them to the real world, just a piece of paper with a promise. This type of money is called fiat money. See, fiat money or fiat currency is created when a government declares that the printed pieces of paper are legal tender to pay with and to be paid from and paid with. The word fiat means let it be done. So the government said, let it be done, and now paper is money. See, the final plan took place when we escaped from the physical world altogether and money became numbers on a computer screen. Banks and literally created money out of thin air and lend it out without ever becoming real in the form of bills or coins or gold or anything else for that matter. You've now learned our paper money and our account balance numbers on our computer screens aren't backed up by anything real anymore, and there's nothing backing these pieces of paper except for promises. So let's recap what we've learned. First, we value money was a tangible and were better way at the game. If you had food and you ate it, if you had gold, you could make things from it, and it made natural, intuitive sense to us. Now that money is intangible, it confuses us, and again, in the next report, I'll explain why this and how to overcome it. Second, when we use money, we lose money, which means we need to focus on obtaining assets and not money. Once implemented, wealth creation happens. So now let's see another way to look about money, and more importantly, a way to succeed. Because you see, family, in this particular module, we can see how we progressively went from using bartering systems, to using shells, to using gold and silver tangible intrinsic value coins, to bills, to something now that's just an empty promise. So moving forward, it is important for you to know that the focus here is not to create money, but to acquire assets that produce money. So I look forward to talking to you in the previous videos, and I hope this has been very, very informative to you, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care.